Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing really well. So I wanted to do quickly a video of my top anticipated releases for 2024. So of course, these are not all of the books that I'm excited about, but they're the ones that I know of already that I can't wait for. I will definitely get these on release date, and hopefully we'll actually get some advanced reader copies in some cases, and ones that, you know, whether they're a sequel to something that I love, which there's quite a few sequels on here actually, whether it's something from an author that I absolutely love and they're an automatic buy for me, or it's something that, you know, not necessarily something I've read from anybody that I know, but something that just sounds really good, like the synopsis sounds really good. So I hope you guys are excited for some of these that are coming out in 2024. Let me know down below, of course, if you're excited about any of these books. So I put these in order of release date, but of course the release date is subject to change, and obviously it's going to be different in some areas. Like sometimes release dates in the UK are different from ones for the US and Canada. So I'm going to do my best to do these in chronological order, but of course some of these can change. So the first one that I'm super excited about is The Hollow Dead by Darcy Coates, coming out on February 13th. And this is part of the Gravekeeper series. So this is book 4, which I believe is the final book in the Gravekeeper series, and I've loved the first 3. So this is about a young lady named, I believe her name is Kira, and she has amnesia. She has no idea who she is. She doesn't know anything about her past, but her past, like some elements from her past, are starting to chase her. So she meets this older man who basically hires her on to help clean up around the local graveyard, and Kira can see ghosts, and she tries to help them, and she tries to communicate with them to find out why they haven't moved on, help them move on. And I believe it's in the first book, there's a really sinister spirit who's holding people there, and he's holding spirits there. So she's wrapped up in that. Like I said, there's stuff from her life that are, you know, kind of coming in. She's being chased by these men, and she has no idea what they want, but she just knows that they want to hurt her. And of course she develops friendships along the way, and you know, there's lots of adventure, there's lots of supernatural elements, and these books are definitely outside a little bit of what Darcy Coates is famous for, which is haunted house stories. So if you enjoy Darcy Coates but you want something a little bit outside of the her basic haunted house stories, I would definitely recommend these ones. They have a lot of adventure, and you know, we're starting to develop the story now. This is the last book. The last one finished off on a bang, and I can't wait to get my hands on the final part of the story. And then on April 1st, we have The Ghost of Ravenswood Hall by H.B. Diaz. Now this is an author that I've never ever read before, but just the title of this book alone really looped me in, and so I'm going to go through the synopsis quickly, and hopefully you guys are excited for this one as well. Eventually, the past must give up its dead. Whether William Garrett's estranged father dies under mysterious circumstances and makes a heinous accusation against him, Will must journey to a place that has haunted him since childhood, a place he vowed never to return to, Ravenswood Hall. But memories of the past are the least of Will's troubles. Stories of murder and witchcraft hinder Will's efforts to settle the estate and clear his name. And at the heart of it all is a Spanish painter named Leonora Laveau, now a fixture of the crumbling hall. She claims to have witnessed Will's father leap from the widow's walk in the throes of lunacy. Rumors in the town tell a darker tale, though, that she drove him to it. As Will's father under Leonora's spell and tragedy strikes those nearest to Ravenswood Hall, he becomes plagued by disembodied voices and visions of the dead. And the synopsis goes on and on from there, but that's all I needed to know. So, you know, you've got this old crumbling mansion, a man who vowed he would never go back there, family history, witchcraft, the occult, lunacy. It just has all of the feels. I'm so excited about this, and I'm really hoping that the book itself lives up to the synopsis. And then on April 2nd, we have the new Hester Fox, which I am so excited about because you guys know Hester Fox is very quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. And this one has an element in here that I'm really super interested in because I don't read a whole lot of books that contain elements of botany. So quickly going into the synopsis here, quote, combining history, the occult, human greed, and a touch of feminism, this is a fine addition to the Gothic genre. In the midst of the Napoleonic Wars and the rise of floriography craze in Europe, two sisters separated at birth are bound together by a secret language of flowers, passed down to them by the mother they never knew. When Cornelia leaves her cruel uncle's home to join Napoleon's army as a traveling naturalist, her ability to heal any wound and bring soldiers back from the brink of death earns her praise from higher-ups and exposes her to those who would exploit her powers for themselves. So again, the synopsis goes on from there. Please read the entire thing. It sounds so good. I didn't want to know a whole lot about this one, but you know, something that takes place during the time of the Napoleonic Wars. It has botany in there, occultism, witchcraft, spiritualism. It just sounds right up there, and Hester Fox's writing is fantastic. She is one of my favorite writers. Even if the story isn't like one of my favorites, I enjoy the way that she writes atmosphere so much. So super excited for this one. And then on April 9th, we have another sequel. So this is Against the Darkness by Kendara Blake, and this is the third in her Buffy trilogy. So I think this is where we're wrapping up the story. I don't know though. I hope she's going to write more because they're just, I gobble these books up. And In Every Generation and One Girl in All the World made my top reads of the year list for 2022 and 2023. Yeah, 2022 and 2023, and I'm sure this one is going to be up there as well. She does such a fantastic job of capturing all of the characters that I love, and I can't wait to read this one. And then next up on April the 9th, we have The Gathering by CJ Tudor, and unfortunately I can't find a synopsis right now in this moment. But this is her take on vampire fiction, and I'm super excited about this because I mentioned in a recent video that I'm really craving vampires lately. And this one takes place, I believe, in a remote place in Alaska where this woman has to go, and so it's cold, it's remote, and she has to go in, and there's been like a string of deaths, and there's a local colony of vampires. So vampires are very well known to humans. They're not like, you know, fictional characters that nobody knows about, that they actually live, and she has to figure out what's going on there. So that's all I know about the book, really. I didn't want to know too much going in. CJ Tudor is such a fantastic thriller writer. The Burning Girls, I believe I read in 2021, was one of my top reads of that year. Her writing has definitely developed over the past few years, because there was a couple that I read that she had put out previously that it was almost like it was a shadow of her writing, but it hadn't quite developed yet. So between the way that she writes thrillers and the incorporation of vampires in here in, like, you know, isolation horror, I'm super excited about it. And next up on May 23rd, we have Moonstone by Laura Purcell. And Laura Purcell, of course, is a very well-known sort of gothic writer. Her book, The Silent Companions, is still on my list. I did read another one by her this year, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but I definitely did see why people love her writing so much. So this one says, from award-winning bestseller Laura Purcell comes her YA debut, Moonstone, a sparkling, chilling gothic romance with real bite. Following a scandal at Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens, Camille is sent away to her reclusive godmother, who keeps a strict watch over her and her own sickly daughter Lucy. Camille must stay away from everything she has known until the scandal is forgotten, keeping strictly to the small farmhouse in the woods. Away from the corsetry and curtsies of polite society, Camille finds herself surprisingly free. She also strangely drawn to Lucy, a pale, fragile girl who dreams of stars, but has never left the farm. Yet as Camille and Lucy grow close and cross forbidden boundaries, the fine balance of their woodland home begins to fade. Death stalks between the trees, claw marks rake the doors, and the moon rises to the song of a creature Camille has never heard of before. So Laura Purcell going into what sounds like werewolf fiction and her first foray into YA fiction, and then layer in this sapphic element on top of it. This sounds absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to read this one. And next up on June 18th, we have How to Make a Horror Movie and Survive by Craig DeLuey. So this one is outside of the other ones on this list, but it sounds so good. So it says, from Bram Stoker Award nominated author Craig DeLuey comes a darkly humorous horror novel that sees a famous 80s slasher director set out to shoot the most terrifying horror movie ever made, and using an occult camera that might be, and probably is, demonic. And that's all I needed to know. I didn't even read the rest of the synopsis. Horror comedy with a haunted camera, 80s slasher director. Like, I mean, I can't wait for this one. It sounds so good. I haven't actually read Craig DeLuey before. He gets such notoriety, like, within the groups that I watch here on YouTube and on Instagram. But I think this one is definitely going to be right up my alley. So super excited for this one as well. And then also on June 25th, we have Secrets of Rosebery Hall by Kelsey James. So this is also an author that I haven't read before, but the title there just scooped me right up, and I know that this is going to be fantastic. So it says, in this gilded age, Gothic homage to Gaslight, starring Ingrid Bergman, a wealthy young newlywed in early 20th century New York, is isolated when her opulent yet ominously empty mansion by the charismatic and controlling new husband, plotting to undermine her sanity. So this is basically a retelling of the movie Gaslight, which I haven't seen before, but it's basically a Gothic story about a husband that's trying to control his wife and basically make her seem like she's insane and she's not really understanding what's going on in reality. But of course, he's gaslighting her. So I've personally never seen the movie, so I think in June what I would really like to do is watch the movie with Ingrid Bergman and then read this book. And like I said, I've never read anything by Kelsey James before, but this sounds right up my alley, and maybe this is something we'll do with the Haunted Victorian Book Club. If you guys are members of the book club or want to join in, of course it's free. Let me know down below if you guys would like to read this one in June. And next up is another sequel coming out on August the 13th is Dear Hannah by Zoya Stage, and this is the sequel to Baby Teeth, which was one of my favorite books when I first started this channel way back in 2020. It's fantastic. If you love creepy kid horror and sort of possession horror elements, please read Baby Teeth if you haven't already. It's one of the best creepy kid books that I've ever read. So this one is the follow-up, and I'm not going to say anything about this or about the first book because I don't want to ruin anything, but this is definitely going to be one that I get on release day. I'm really excited about it, and I think what I'll probably do is reread Baby Teeth because it's been about 4 years, and then read this one. And then finally is another sequel, actually, is book 3 in the Mina and the Undead series. So here we have Mina and the Cult. I didn't put down an actual release date for this one because I'm not positive of when it is, but I know that the author Amy McCaw is looking to release this early April. So April is going to be a really big month for new releases, and April is going to be a very busy month because of course it's going to be old school April as well. So I'm going to have lots of reading that I need to do during that month, both new and old books. So super stoked about this. So this is, like I said, book 3 in the Mina series. And if you haven't picked up the Mina series yet, please do. So this is a YA series that came out a couple of years ago by my good friend Amy McCaw. She is a fantastic writer, and this series is so good. If you like vampire fiction and you enjoy things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and that sort of thing, if you like things that, I believe this takes place in the 90s in New Orleans, and she really captures the atmosphere of New Orleans. I know she did a lot of research for writing these books, and you know, they're just action-packed. They really do have that Buffy sort of feel to them. And there's, you know, basically Mina and her group of friends, her group of Scoobies, are getting up to all kinds of things. So again, I didn't want to say too much about these books because I don't want to give anything away, but I'm really looking forward to this one. And you know, if it comes out early April, I'm definitely going to be one of the first people in line to get my ebook, because usually when these come out, the ebooks are available in the United States a little bit earlier than the physical copies. So keep an eye out for that. So there you guys go. Those are the books that I'm most excited about in 2024. So I just realized that most of these, I think except for one, are coming out in the first half of the year. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do another one of these videos for books that are coming out in the second half of the year. But for right now, I mean, there's lots of sequels. There's lots of books on here that have gothic feels. There's ones on here that are by authors who I would consider some of my favorites. Some are new authors. So lots and lots coming up in the first part of 2024. Let me know if you guys are excited about any of these. And of course, as always, give me a thumbs up if you like the video and leave me a question or comment down below, because you know I love chatting with you guys. But until next time, stay spooky, everybody. Bye.